Live, this is Good Morning Texas.
Good morning, Texas. Happy Tuesday. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning. We have a fabulous show for you, as I always say. I'm Erin Hunter. Let's talk about it. What's coming up? Well, we have our Overcoming Hurdles series. It continues today with actor Adrian Lockett. He's in the house. We're going to dive into his professional career, but also his personal life, plus where you can find a new free art gallery in Dallas that celebrates local artists. And cabbage is the new it veggie, you guys. So today we're showing you how a variety of different ways to cook it up in the GMT kitchen. You don't want to miss that. It is going to be so good and already smells divine in here. So let's pop over to the Weather Center, see what's going on outside. Greg Fields, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning to you. Well, election day here across North Texas, we do have a warm wind out there for us. Breezy as well with these temperatures that will be unseasonably warm again today. Rain's going to hold off until tomorrow, so we'll talk more about that for you coming up. But as we get you on out to Fort Worth, 69 degrees we're back up to right now. Didn't cool off a whole lot during the overnight hours, and you look at those winds, they're gusting to 26 miles per hour out there for you right now. So we will have those breezy conditions. Still lots of low clouds out there for us this morning. So we're going to go with the mostly cloudy skies this morning. I think by the afternoon, though, we'll start to see those skies becoming partly sunny, but those winds at Fair Park gusting to 21, looking at 68 degrees there. So we'll have those upper 60s here this morning. This is warmer than what our actual highs should be for today. I'm already back up to 70 there at Love Field in Dallas. 68 heading out to Sherman and Gainesville here this morning. 70 heading over to Mineral Wells. So temperatures already starting to climb, and it will be a very warm, breezy afternoon. Those winds again gusting to near 30 miles per hour as we get into this afternoon, and we'll see those temperatures quite warm today too. Lower 80s. You see that normal high 65. So we're looking at 82 Dallas, around 83 heading over to Fort Worth with those partly sunny skies for today. Tomorrow, though, that's when things do get a little unsettled, especially during the afternoon and evening. We do have that weather alert in place for tomorrow with the showers and thunderstorms beginning tomorrow. Could be looking at some hail and some gusty winds, so make sure you do stay updated with the forecast over the next few days, as we will have some unsettled weather through the end of the week on into the upcoming weekend. But we'll talk more about that later in the show. But now, Erin, back to you.
All right. Thanks so much, Greg, for keeping us up to date. It's time for Overcoming Hurdles. Before movie moguls Tyler Perry and Spike Lee asked Adrian Lockett to bring his acting talent to their projects, he faced a series of hurdles, and they would leave the actor questioning his future. Give up, though, he did not. Instead, he stuck to his dream and is here to share his story. Good morning to you, Adrian.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So glad to have you here. So if you could, looking back at your life, you've said that your whole life is pretty much a hurdle. And so that's a brave outlook to have, especially about your own life. And so who did you look to for motivation?
Believe it or not, I look to myself. I always looked at my peers, and I was like, if I'm not doing better than them, or I'm not meeting the mark that sets a standard to make myself better than them, then what am I doing? Right. So I always question myself, like, is there a better room for me to be in?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, but I think that's very relatable. All of us kind of feel that way. Like, am I doing enough? Am I showing up enough?
Absolutely.
Am I putting the work in? And sometimes it's just about consistency. But let's talk about how you grew up when you were in that space of looking towards yourself. You were without running water. You were without AC. And kids can be cruel. They will be very honest and brutal with you. And so how did you learn to start shaking off the opinions of other people about yourself?
Well, it was pretty tough. They didn't know a lot about the running water situation and all of that. They just knew that we were less fortunate because of the clothes that we wore. Right. So we had to learn how to joke back, and get the person that's laughing. So that's
difficult. That's difficult because you're like, I remember being in school, and you're like, okay, I've got to get on the bus. I have got to have a comeback, and I have to have it ready to go. And you spend all night figuring out what that joke is going to be. So acting was one thing you didn't even know you could do. You kind of just fell into it. So because you didn't see anyone else doing it, how did you find the courage to pursue it, or where did that passion originally come from?
Well, after my dreams of playing football died out, it was more so of becoming an adult and asking myself, what is it that you really want to do? and knowing that I had the determination inside of me to do it. Yes. So it's pretty much just do it.
But I feel like you went from one big dream to the next, because usually football, most of us want to be athletes, and when that dies out, it's like, okay, let me try and find something that's a 9 to 5. But you kept chasing the dream. You were like, okay, I'm going to do something else big. Auditions have now become a normal part of your life, almost your daily routine, and you have to embrace the yes or the no that is coming. How do you do that? Because rejection it feels like it's almost always looming in a sense.
Yeah, I don't think you can make it in Hollywood without having tough skin. you have to know how to weather the nose. And the way that I do it is basically when I close the book on an audition, it's over with.
Yeah.
I go on to the next one. I figure out what it takes to be great in this next audition so that I can become, better on the just whatever's next.
Bigger and better.
Yeah.
Keep evolving, right? Well, you've been on, let's talk about some of your fave shows, you guys. The Oval, The Haves and the Have-Nots, Sisters. I mean, those are all some of Tyler Perry's biggest shows. So what hurdles come with being on that set? Because obviously you're jumping hurdles to get there, but then you got to keep going and making sure that you can stay there.
Yeah. I would tell you that Tyler Perry's sets are like master classes.
Really?
I don't think no one is prepared unless they've been there before, because he moves very, very swiftly. And you'll be up there thinking that you have time to reset and all that. You don't have time. Tyler Perry is, let's go.
He ain't playing.
Yeah, and he'll tell you that I give you a room, I give you everything that you need to be successful on this set. So when you get here, I expect you to be just
to do your job.
Yeah.
Okay, Tyler.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it seems like you're doing your job. You've been on multiple of the shows.
I
want the viewers to know a little bit more about you and just how many hurdles you really have overcome. After all the highs, 2023 comes, and it's a hard year for you. Your brother passed on October 12th, and then right after, you buried him on your birthday at that, and then right after that, you ended up getting shot yourself, and you thought you were going to lose your life. And so with all of these life events happening almost back to back, I mean, how do you keep the strength? How do you keep hope and positivity that I can continue to do this life? Because we do almost succumb under the weight of what life gives us sometimes.
Absolutely. Well, the thing was that if I gave up then it was like everything was for nothing. I'm still alive. I still have a fighting chance. So let's get back up. Let's tackle it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What positivity, especially after being shot. I mean, my goodness, I can't wrap my head around it. What was the recovery time on something like that?
Well, I think because of my father and who my mom is, I was probably up doing things that I shouldn't have been doing way before I was healed. But I would say probably about 3 weeks. But the recovery time that I probably should have sat down was probably about 5 months.
Wow.
Probably. Yeah.
Wow. My goodness. Okay, so it really was a quality of life change for quite a bit of time then for you, even though you tried to push through it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, you started Dallas Creatives Meetup for other people who want to pursue TV, pursue film, even just the media industry in general. So tell us more about that.
Okay, so it's Creatives Meetup Dallas, and I wanted to facilitate a place where actors, dreamers, producers, directors, everybody could come into one room. And then just because we're in this room, it doesn't mean that we don't need tax people, credit people, lawyers. So I wanted to facilitate a place that we can meet those people and give those people clientele as well.
Yes.
Well, we've all been a 9-to-5er before, and there's nothing wrong with it. And some of those 9-to-5ers want to get out of their 9-to-5 and get into the entertainment industry, or they need the professional services of lawyers, credit people, tax people. So I said, I have all of these connections. I will create the room and I will make this happen in Dallas.
Incredible.
Been doing it ever since.
Very good. Okay, so if someone's listening right now and they're thinking, okay, I need someone to lean on in this space or this space or this space, and I'm trying to get into the industry, when is the next meetup? The
next one is actually tomorrow, Wednesday, March 4th, and it's at 7 p.m. at Venaki Casino in Bishop Arts.
Very good. Okay, you guys, mark your calendars. It is happening tomorrow. There's your plans for tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining us this morning and being vulnerable and sharing your story. I know that can be difficult, but you have really laid the foundation for someone who's watching, so we appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Some love destroys you and some saves you, but some can do both, right? And our next guest's love of storytelling began as a kid with dyslexia, but today she's debuting her second chance romance novel. Author, content creator, and artist Haley Grace McCormick is here to take us inside the pages of The Enemy of Time. Good morning to you.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me here.
So glad to have you here this morning. So let's talk about it, because you have hundreds of thousands of followers on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. So why a romance novel now? now? Like, what made you want to lean into that?
You know, I had started to learn how to write in college at the same time that social media was happening for me. So I really was building two different worlds simultaneously, and I'm just really lucky that people loved hearing my ranting and raving on social media about, fangirl moments of loving Damon Salvatore a little bit too much, and that was able to then really help, show my book off to the world now that I've been able to create.
Okay, so a Vampire Diaries kind of gal we've got in the house this morning. Tell me a little bit about the book, Enemy of Time. What's it about, and how'd you come up with the title?
So The Enemy of Time was really about this idea that, one moment in our life can really change how we think about love, time, and fate. And The Enemy of Time, the title itself, came from this idea that we're all kind of our own enemy at time. Whether it's you're standing in your own way because you don't speak up or you don't say something or you let time pass. And the thing is, tomorrow isn't a guarantee. So that's where the idea of The Enemy of Time kind of came from.
I like this theme. I think we should all take this theme into 2026 because you're right. I think we procrastinate a lot. We're going to do it tomorrow. We'll do it later. You know what I mean? And later is not promised, like you said. Okay, tell me more about the characters in the book.
So it basically follows these two main characters, but we also have, their friends along with them that also have their own kind of little love story that's going on in the background. But Jamie and Alex are two very messy and confusing, lovely characters who are a little too relatable, I would say, at times, when you're kind of screaming at them saying, why are you making these mistakes? But the truth is, we all made these mistakes in high school, and we all made these choices that, when we look back, we're like, why did I do this?
Yes.
But you did it, and it meant something at that time. And so we kind of watched them go through their love together, but also their childhood together and their teenhood together, and kind of how all of that unfolds.
Yes, okay, it made them who the people that they are in the book.
Exactly.
Okay, so then tell me, because I mentioned dyslexia in the intro, and so the fact that you are writing a novel is extraordinary. I want to go back to your childhood a little bit because you were diagnosed with not just one, you guys, but 3 different learning challenges. Tell me how that affected your outpoint on life, but also how your parents were able to kind of guide you through it.
For me, dyslexia wasn't something that was ever, in my mind, a bad thing. My mom's dyslexic. My grandfather had learning challenges. It was something that was very much in our family, and so there was never a stigma in my own life about it because my mom knew pretty much since I was 4 years old. She was watching the way I was learning how to read, and she knew something's up, basically. And so she had my dad literally read me books. He would read out loud to me because he knew and she knew that I needed to find a love of storytelling and a love of literature that wasn't through fear. Because when we're dyslexic, reading is very fear-based. It's very hard for us. And so my mom said, if your dad reads out loud to you and you read along with the story, so I'd have the book in front of me, he would be my narrator, my voice, basically. And then I was able to start kind of auto-recognizing the words that way without having this fear of reading and this kind of panic that goes along with being dyslexic. So they really helped take the fear in general out of my learning challenges. But obviously, we look at the world a little bit different, right? And so the beauty in having a learning challenge is that we can actually look at the world not in these, little tiny details, but in such a bigger way. We look at it in a kind of a full rounded sense. And so I think that actually helped in the writing at the end of the day for me.
My goodness. I love that you put that tip in there, though. I know it was your experience in your childhood, but it's such a good tip for parents at home. If you have a child with dyslexia, make sure that you're reading to them before they even hit grade school so that they don't have to worry about keeping up with everyone else. They just have to worry about taking in the story in the comfort of their own home. You said that's where your love of storytelling started to grow a bit, but a teacher also inspired you. Tell me about that.
Absolutely. So for me, I was in high school and I was gonna become a fashion designer. That was my thought in life, and that was the only thing I had ever thought. And then my mother decided, again, my mother decided to physically push me into a Shakespeare class because she said that I needed to learn how to speak in front of other people and again get out of my own mind, get out of that fear. She physically forced me into this classroom. And the Shakespeare teacher, as I'm in hyperventilating in a paper bag, basically at this point, the Shakespeare teacher came into the room and she was wearing these funny costumes and she was saying the craziest things. And she took the fear, again, out of literature and she made it fun. She made it entertaining and welcoming. For the first time in my life, it was a welcoming experience to be in a classroom setting. And then she put the story on the whiteboard and she knew that I was a visual learner. So she showed me in a picture format the 3-act story structure in a way that my brain could understand it. I literally went home after that class. I ripped up my college applications, and I decided that I needed to become a writer.
There you go. And the rest is history, literally after
yes.
that point. So good. Thank you for being vulnerable this morning and sharing your story. I think it's incredibly important. And someone at home is listening and thinking, okay, it is possible for maybe me to be a writer as well. So tell us, where can we get our hands on the book?
So right now the book is available anywhere books are sold. It's on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Books A Million, Walmart, all those good places. But also 83 independent bookstores have put this book in their store, which is such an amazing feeling.
Congratulations to you. Thank you so much for being here, Haley Grace.
Thank you for taking the time.
The Dallas-based chart-topping American history podcaster whose fans include actors George Clooney and Ryan Reynolds is taking his show on the road. And the first stop, Dallas's Granada Theater. Lindsey Graham is here to tell us about the Days That Made America tour. Good morning.
Good morning.
So glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Before we talk about your first ever live stage show, tell us, how did you decide that American history was where you wanted to take your research skills and your storytelling skills and really put them on stage for everyone to see?
Yeah, I don't know that I actually did decide. Half my career is just a string of accidents. But, history was always the subject I kind of gravitated towards the most, probably because it was so storytelling oriented. My best teachers were storytellers.
Yes. Okay, so in your podcast, you put us inside the shoes of the people and the events that made American history. And so how did you come up with your scripts and the sound effects and the voices to really make everything come to life for the listener?
Right, so American History Tellers is 8 years old at this point. So we have an established team now of writers, producers, researchers, fact checkers. So it's a team effort. We've been doing many stories, but they keep coming. So there's no end to the well.
I was about to say, there's no end in sight for you.
No.
I mean, there is a surplus of history you can dive into, that's for sure. Tell me, how did you figure out that George Clooney and Ryan Reynolds were fans of you and the show?
Well, George Clooney I discovered when listening to another podcast, Smartless. He was a guest on that show, and then just casually mentioned that he goes to sleep listening to me, which is bizarre.
What was that feeling like?
It was a bit of a shock.
Yeah. I can only imagine.
I didn't know if it was a compliment or not that I made him go to fall asleep. But Ryan Reynolds, he DM'd me on Twitter back when it was called Twitter.
Yeah.
And that was also a shocking moment.
My goodness. Okay, well, you've got the audience there, it sounds like. And you know what? I think it's a good thing. I fall asleep to podcasters, too. So when you have that type of voice, you can be in that space. But tell me, what prompted you to step out from behind the microphone, basically behind the scenes, and put your shows on live stage? You have 3 different shows: American History Tellers, American Scandal, and History Daily. It's now going to be a theatrical show. So what made you want to do that?
Well, podcasts are kind of an intimate medium, but my shows, I don't really discuss me at all. I'm kind of behind the veil, behind the curtain of history, right? And so although I have a great relationship with my audience, I don't think it's very personal. So this is an opportunity to be live and in person, right? And bring all 3 shows together into one new thing.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so what can audiences expect when they do sit down and decide to listen to you?
Well, I'm calling the tour The Days That Made America. And so I've picked 6 days that are not really obvious days, but consequential, hinging moments in American history that you may or may not have heard of. Yeah. And we're going to tell each one of those 6 in a different way, kind of nodding to my 3 different shows that do things in different manners.
Nice. Okay, so is it a coincidence that you decided to do this year? It is the 250th anniversary, or shall I say birthday, of the United States?
It's not really a coincidence. It may even be in opposition. We're celebrating it on July 4th, the birthday of the nation. But I deliberately chose other days to remind us that American history is today, tomorrow, yesterday.
Every day.
Every day.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so the tour kicks off at Granada Theater on Friday. So what other cities do you have on the list?
Well, it hasn't been announced yet, but we're looking at an East Coast tour, D.C., Philadelphia, New York. We hope to get to the West Coast and then maybe up to Chicago.
Very good. Okay, well, as you launch this stage show, I know you're still researching and doing all the things to keep the podcast going. I mean, how do you find the time to make all of this happen? Because it seems like you guys are growing and evolving. Did you ever think it would get to this point?
Oh, absolutely not. No, and there's never enough time in the day.
Oh, my goodness.
But we get it done, and I think I think it's through the enthusiasm for the subject.
Your love of history, very good, and you're spreading that to others too, which I
so.
love. Yes, yes. Where can we find more information about your podcast, but also the live stage show?
Sure. Easiest way is probably go to AmericanHistoryLive.com, and that'll get you to the website for the live show. And otherwise, just try and search for one of my podcasts in your favorite podcast player.
There you go. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for being here this
you.
morning and sharing with us.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Still to come on today's show, downtown Dallas just got a vibrant new art space. We're getting a first look inside the Dallas Arts Tower Gallery, and the stunning work of a North Texas artist whose art you can enjoy for free. Plus, it's the year of the cabbage. We're in the GMT kitchen this morning to learn how to use this year's popular veggie and add it to your meals. Michelle?
Well, the Dallas Mavericks have changed the status on rookie Cooper Flagg. Will he return for tonight's game? We have the answer to that when GMT continues.
It's time for Mavs Mania. As we're approaching the tail end of the NBA season, fans are hoping that the Mavs can get back on that winning streak, maybe. But with the team's key players still missing, it's going to be basically a fight to the finish. So here to give us an update is WFA sports reporter Michelle Montaigne. Good morning, my girl.
Good morning, my girl.
Yeah, let's talk about it, because you mentioned right before the break that Cooper Flagg, his status might have changed. He has missed 7 straight games. So what's the latest?
So the last 7 games, he's been listed as out on the injury report. He's still dealing with that midfoot midfoot sprain. He was listed as doubtful for tonight's game against his former Duke teammate and roommate, Con Knipple. And the reason why this is a big deal is because, one, I mean, while doubtful still would indicate that he likely won't play, it means that he could be coming back sooner rather than later. The reason that it's a big deal for this game in specific is because you have 2 of the front runners in the Rookie of the Year race going head-to-head. As I mentioned, Con Knipple and Cooper Flagg, they were roommates at Duke just last year, and they have both put up excellent rookie seasons. If you think about the comparison between their numbers, Coop's averaging about 20.5 points, 6.5 rebounds. Con averaging like 19.5, 5.5 rebounds. They're both shooting 48% from the field. So they are neck and neck when it comes to the numbers that they've put up this season. And tonight, if they were going head to head, it would have been one of those games where you're like, okay, who's the better rookie? It would have gone a long way in determining who's going to win Rookie of the Year. But honestly, I think Coop still has the edge.
You think?
Even with
though
him
he's
missing,
missed?
yes. Even with him missing, if it is 8 straight games, you know, he still has put up so many highlight plays during the games that he's actually played in that I think he's got it in the bag. But still, people want to see the young stars that are up and coming in the league going head to head.
Exactly.
We won't get that one tonight.
Okay, next time, maybe next season.
Yeah,
though,
maybe
at this point.
yeah, honestly.
Okay, so tell me what's most important as we go into this next week and a half, because they're going on basically the longest road trip they've had all season. They're on the road.
6 straight games away from the AAC. And as cliche as it sounds, I think the biggest thing that they have to do during this stretch is just maintain positivity. If you've watched the Mavericks play this season, you will see that no matter how much they're losing by, how, you know, big of a deficit they're facing, like, they continue to fight and they continue to play really close games. And typically it's, you know, a roster that's undermanned or one that doesn't stack up, you know, talent-wise on paper compared to their opponents, but they still continue to try so hard. And if there's anything that, you know, gives you cause to continue watching this team, it's that fight will carry over when they finally do get fully healthy and, you know, have a team that's built to actually contend.
They have good character, and it will carry over once the skill matches where their character is.
Said it perfectly.
There
you don't need
go.
me. You have
I
Aaron.
got you, girl. Look, put me on a spot. No, I'm just kidding. Mavs, they will play in Charlotte tonight versus the Hornets. Then they're in Florida on Thursday to play the Orlando Magic. You can watch the games on our sister station, KFAA Channel 29. And to learn more, go to WFA.com/KFAA. This Mavs Mania is sponsored by the On Time Experts.
Live, this is Good Morning Texas.
Storms are coming tomorrow. Make sure you have that WFA Plus app downloaded to your phone. But today, we don't have to worry about that. Today,
don't have to worry about
just
that
sun.
today. Yeah, well, some sun mixed in with some wind and plenty of warm temperatures. I know you like that. Let's get you on out here one more time before we let you go here this morning. We are looking at those temperatures that will stay on the warm side, very warm, 69 degrees. Those south winds sustained at 20 miles per hour already this morning, and they will be quite gusty as we go through the day today. So those gusts up around 30 at times. 24-mile-per-hour wind gusts taking you out to Cedar Hill right now with the mostly cloudy skies. Those low clouds still hanging in, but yes, we will have some sunshine out there today. So we're going to go with partly sunny skies as we get into this afternoon. Lower 80s we're headed for, but sustained winds 15 to 25, some gusts around 30 as we go through the day. Still going to be nice and warm as we head on into this evening too. Now, tomorrow, a little bit different story. We do have that slight risk for some severe storms over a large part of North Texas. We are talking about some large hail potentially and some damaging winds. Won't be until late in the day. So the first part of the day, we'll just have a few showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm around. But as we get into the late afternoon and evening, that's when those storms will get going. Doesn't mean everyone will see stronger severe thunderstorms, but it stays relatively quiet through most of the afternoon hours as we head into tomorrow. Looking ahead till tomorrow morning, still going to be looking at some showers around through about midday, maybe an isolated thunderstorm or two, but then late in the day, that's when those thunderstorms do get going across the area. So you'll need to be weather aware late in the afternoon, heading on into the evening hours. You see those storms do become more widespread with that severe weather threat as we head toward 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow evening. That tapers off, and then as we head into Thursday, looks like the stronger thunderstorms will stay over our far western counties, maybe out across the panhandle portions of western Oklahoma for tomorrow. But we are talking about more widespread rain and thunderstorms possible through the rest of the week as well. So just stay tuned as we continue to update the forecast. But you see the rain and thunderstorm chances will continue right through Sunday. All right, Aaron, back to you.
All right. Thanks so much, Greg, for keeping us up to date as always. This week, an exciting exhibition opens exclusively at the Perot Museum of Nature and Science. Soccer, more than a game, will allow visitors to discover the science behind the world's most popular game in an interactive experience sponsored by Amazon. Paige is live this morning to kick around and learn more about the game of soccer. Hello, Paige.
Hey, good morning to you. Good morning, Texas. I have to tell you, this is a fantastic exhibition. And for parents out there, when you're thinking about spring break plans, this is a destination you must consider including on your list. I am here at Soccer More Than a Game at the Perot Museum of Nature and Science. We are getting an exclusive first peek at this new exhibit that's all about soccer just in time for FIFA. And I'm excited to introduce you to two very special people. This is Dr. Linda Silver. She is the Eugene McDermott CEO for the Perot Museum. And also we have Vicki Yakunin. She is Amazon's head of community affairs. Welcome, ladies, to you both.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
you. Great to be here.
All right. So first of all, I wanted to pay reference to this. This piece has has approximately 26,000 pieces of Legos. Took over 800 hours for someone to build. This is just one of so many different exhibits that are here. It makes for such an exciting opportunity to come and to really interact with the game of soccer and also learn a bit about the science behind soccer. Can you tell us a little bit more about the exhibition in general?
Absolutely. So this exhibition, Soccer More Than a Game, was designed by our team at the Perot Museum. Once we knew that the World Cup would be here in North Texas, we wanted to make sure that we could draw all of the connections between science and the world's most beloved game together. And that's what we've done in this 10,000 square foot exhibition.
And you had an opportunity to partner with someone very special, and with Vicki and with the team of Amazon. Tell me, why did you want to be a part of this?
Yeah, Amazon is really built on the idea that great things happen when people come together through curiosity and creativity and a shared sense of purpose. And this exhibit, and soccer in general, really shares that same spirit and brings people together. So we're so proud to partner with the Perot Museum to bring this exhibit to life.
Well, I have to say, I kind of kicked off my morning, pun intended. This morning, we have video of my interactive experiences that I had. It was so much fun, so many things to do and to see, kicking off with this handy dandy wristband that you are able to click on. You're immediately become a soccer star, you're almost transformed, and you have all these fun, Instagrammable moments throughout the museum. And at the same time, one of the key things, and this is something that's always so important when it comes to the Perot Museum of Nature and Science, is that you always incorporate a learning element into it so that kids that are visiting here, they're going to be walking away really having a whole new sense of knowledge and also considering how their knowledge can be applied in the future for their careers.
Absolutely, and this part of the exhibition really highlights that. So as you go through the exhibition, you talked about the wristbands. It'll be tracking the choices that you make, the way that you answer questions, and what we really want to reveal are the kinds of careers that you could have if you're interested in soccer. We think about the athletes, we think about the coaches, but do we think about the nutritionists, the medical doctors, the stadium designers, the engineers who are working behind the scenes? And this exhibition really reveals all of those opportunities, and we hope gets everyone interested and gives them something to learn.
I think that you bring up a really good point because you talk about the different opportunities. Soccer is its own entity. It's huge. And there are some massive opportunities associated with that. And being able to get a glimpse into those career opportunities really can inspire kids. If they can see it, they can achieve it. And that's another thing when it comes to Amazon. As you mentioned, you're all about fostering community. That's in essence the reason for your position, is bringing communities together. What has it meant to you to be a part of this?
Yeah, we're especially proud to support the CLEATS exhibit, the Coaching Lab for X in Athletics, Technology, and Science. And as Linda said, we're just excited to give kids the opportunity to explore careers off the field. So a student that might walk through here will learn a little bit about data analytics or maybe game strategy, and they might leave this exhibit and think about becoming a general manager or a physical therapist or some other career off the field.
Well, what I love, the viewers had an opportunity to see the video of the three of us playing, which I think is so much fun. We had a great time, and that's the thing too, that this is great for kids, of course, but this is also great for everybody involved. You all are going to learn something as well. Let's find out the details. Where can we go and get more information, and when does this thing kick off?
So this kicks off March 7th, so we'll be opening then to the public. It'll run through spring and summer all the way through September 7th, and the best thing to do is to go on to the Perot Museum website and buy your tickets in advance, especially for spring break, because we anticipate sellouts.
All right, well, as you see on the screen, we've got that information. You go to perotmuseum.org/soccer for specific information related to this exhibit. It is a must-see. You must learn more about this exciting sport and what it can do to enhance your child's life. Thank you both so much for being here. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Erin, you got to come and kick around with me. This is a place to be.
I would love to come with you, girl. You're going to be sore tomorrow after all that running. Coming up tomorrow on GMT, think Top Golf, but make it soccer. Yeah, we're sending Paige out again from across the pond to North Texas and just in time for World Cup Mania. Paige is live from Toca Social's first ever U.S. location. Then spring break at 470 feet from hands-on art experiences, science experiments, magic, and wildlife encounters. We get a preview of all the kid-friendly fun at Reunion Tower. Plus, we go thrifting to update your wardrobe for less, just in time for spring break. It's all coming up tomorrow on GMT, but don't go anywhere. So much more GMT coming your way. We'll be right back. Big art is making a bold move downtown. The Dallas Arts Tower Gallery is officially open, a new public space showcasing extraordinary North Texas talent. And Stacey Adams with the Business Council for the Arts joins me along with artist Simon Warranch, who will kick off the free exhibition with his show, Glass as Gesture, Color as Language. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
So glad to have you both here. Stacey, I'm coming to you first. If you could, tell me a little bit more about the new Dallas Arts Tower Gallery and how the Business Council for the Arts got involved.
Well, thank you. The Dallas Arts Tower Gallery, you may have not heard of the Dallas Arts Tower before. Well, if you're familiar with the Dallas skyline, you may have seen the iconic building with a hole at the top.
Yeah.
Used to be called the Chase Tower. About 3 years ago, it was purchased by Fortis Property Group, and they rebranded it as the Dallas Arts Tower, taking advantage of its location in the Dallas Arts District.
Wow.
At that time, the Business Council for the Arts saw the opportunity to reach out to them as a member company and talk to them about how how they were thinking about bringing the arts authentically into the tower for both their tenants and their visitors. At that time, my colleague Jill Van Gordon started working with their team, finding local artists, and as a result, we have this beautiful new space that includes permanent exhibitions by artist Du Chow, as well as Carmen Menza, and then the 2,000 square foot gallery that will open with Simon Warrench's show.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's talk about it. Why'd you choose Simon? Why was he the one to go with first?
Well, I mean, obviously Simon is such a talent, but it was a no-brainer for the Business Council for the Arts. So I started working with Simon a little over 2 years ago when we were looking for someone to reimagine our Obelisk Award sculptures. So the Business Council for the Arts is also known for our annual celebration where we honor businesses and business leaders that are making a difference in the arts. So he created this incredible sculpture, and at that time we knew he was a wonderful artist to watch. But when we were thinking about who would make sense to be the first artist for this incredible creative space celebrating North Texas artists, not only did we know he brought incredible talent, creativity, a movement, but also the fact that he got his start right there at Booker T High School was just a wonderful way to create this space to celebrate creativity in North Texas.
Yes, yes. Well, Simon, we're talking about you, and you're sitting right here. So tell us more about the exhibition. What can people expect when they arrive?
Yeah, so, I mean, glass is, it's alive, it's hot, it's constantly in motion. And that's why I love working with the material. So the show has a bunch of different blown glass pieces, what I'd call kind of sculptural objects, as well as a lot of my mixed media works with a lot of different materials. And then there's also a pretty large installation with a lot of different kind of individual objects that together make this kind of beautiful sea.
My goodness. I mean, we're taking a look at some of the work even here right now. It's absolutely stunning. Tell me what it was like working with the Business Council for the Arts.
It's been an honor getting to work with them. They're an incredible partner. On the artist level, they connect artists with businesses. And for us, that's one of the most important things.
Yes.
I mean, since I kind of started working with them, I've been connected with a handful of different of their member companies. Most recently, I did something for Encore's offices, as well as a project with Corgan.
Wow, very
so I'm
good.
really thankful for the Business Council.
Tell me why it's so important for businesses to get involved with the Business Council for the Arts. How does it benefit them as well?
Well, when you join the Business Council for the Arts, you're joining a community of companies that see the value in bringing creativity for their employees. Through the BCA, we provide opportunities to engage with dance, theater, music, art. And through these, a great example is just last week, we had an event at UT Dallas's Bass School where the employees of our member companies had the chance to have the experience of a virtual reality to walk through a painting. And just imagine that kind of creativity that they're bringing back to the workplace.
That's incredible. Okay, I like that. It's constantly evolving, but we really are an arts community at our core here in Dallas and in Fort Worth. And so to bring something like this to the city, it's a part of the skyline. It's going to be easy to find, easy for people to get involved with. How can we come see your gallery first and foremost, or your exhibition first? And then beyond that, how do we continue to see the artists that are coming after Simon?
Well, thank you for asking. It's at 2200 Ross Avenue. Like I said, just look for the building that has a hole at the top. And it's a new Dallas Arts Gallery. And it's a Dallas Arts Tower Gallery, and it's open and free to the public. So it will be open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Nice. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on, sharing your work, sharing what you're doing in our community so that we can delve into the arts as well. And if you at home are thinking, okay, I've got to see this for myself, the Dallas Arts Tower Gallery is inside the old Chase Tower, now rebranded as the Dallas Arts Tower at 2200 Ross Avenue. It's free and open to the public Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Go check it out. It's time to get in the GMT kitchen because there's a popular green veggie that's growing in popularity this year. Move over, kale. There's a new veggie having its moment. Cabbage is being crowned the new it veggie in 2026, and people are finding creative and flavorful ways to bring it to the center of their plate. So here to help us make that happen with a few recipe ideas and what to know is James Provisions founder and chef Deborah Williamson. Welcome back to you.
Good morning.
So glad to have you here. You brought every cabbage under the sun. I love it.
Well, I didn't bring all of them, but I brought 3. There's
She's like,
there's
this is
so
not
many.
even all of it. I love it.
I brought my favorites.
Well, it's being called the vegetable of 2026. Why do you think such a classic ingredient is getting so much attention right now?
I don't know, vegetables or ingredients become trendy and just like start trending for certain reasons. But what's interesting about cabbage is that it's super nutritious. We're in the stage of like a wellness movement is happening, right? So you're getting tons of vitamins, minerals, it's low calorie, it's high fiber, and they're super versatile, which is why we're kind of doing what we're doing today to show you all the versatile ways you can use it. And lastly, it holds forever. So you can buy a cabbage and it is gonna outlast any other vegetable in your kitchen.
Okay.
So that's why they're so sort of fundamental, you know, in so many dishes.
We need to be gravitating towards the cabbage, you guys, when we go to the grocery store. Now that I know it lasts
it's not
the
going to go
longest.
bad. It can last like a month,
Exactly.
maybe
Okay,
more.
so let's talk about all of the different cabbages that
Okay.
you have over here. What's the difference between all of them?
Okay, so this is technically called a red cabbage, but I call it purple because it really looks purple. Right? And then you've got Napa cabbage. This is a traditional green cabbage. I don't use that much because I think this one is so much more interesting. Not only is it beautiful, so pretty, but it has anthocyanin, which is the same chemical compound that's in things like blueberries. So it's super anti-inflammatory. It's like a real superfood. Cabbage in general is a superfood, but this one especially, if you think about any really colorful vegetables, that's what it's coming from.
Nice.
Yeah, so you get a lot of like health benefits, and then it's just fun, it's pretty, so it's, you know, nature at its best.
We're getting a little science lesson this morning too,
Oh, yeah.
you guys. Okay,
Let's do the
is there a
science.
difference for what each one can be used for? I feel like I've seen purple onion like in salads and stuff like that.
Well, these harder cabbages are great for slaw, stir fry, soups. Those are also, you can turn into something creamy. A lot of people are making like cabbage lasagna, melted cabbage. These are great for that.
Okay.
The Napa is a much softer, like tender, really a little more succulent. And so that you're gonna see more in wraps, spring rolls. We're gonna add it to a soup here.
I was about
so
to
it has
say.
a nice texture.
Yes, okay,
Yeah.
well, we have all of these ingredients over here.
Let's
Tell
make
us
some
what we're
things.
making today.
Okay, so first we're gonna start, this is a dish that's at the restaurant. It's a salmon taco, but we make this really lovely purple cabbage slaw, but it's spicy. So we add a spicy aioli that we make with our own house-made mayo that's made with olive oil. And then we're gonna use a little bit, it's already in here, but a jalapeno brine. And so it turns into just this like really tasty, very vibrant. And what's great about cabbage is that you get texture.
Wow.
So not only, you know, it holds up well with heat, it holds up well with time. You can go ahead and sauce it. You can make your slaw and hold it for a few days and it actually only gets better.
Very good, it's very versatile.
It's very versatile. It's a very versatile vegetable.
Okay.
So we're adding, this is just like a lovely seared salmon. And then we're going to put on a little bit of avocado.
Beautiful.
Yeah, forgive my hands, it's just faster
Oh no, girl,
this
we're
way.
getting into this. This is how we would be at home.
And everything's clean.
Love it. Okay, so tell me, as you build this out, you have some other dishes here on the table. Tell me a little bit about these two right here.
So just to show how many ways you can use cabbage, this is basically a cabbage niçoise salad. So we've got that same Napa, that's like the softer of the cabbages. And then this is a smoked trout, which I love. Some miso baby potatoes that are finished in a cast iron. A little bit of a hard egg, a little bit of arugula, some Castelvetrano olives, and a lemon vinaigrette.
This is beautiful.
It's a different take on a niçoise, and it's, you know, bright. And as we're moving into spring, it's already spring here. Like, let's just do it.
There you go.
Then this is a fun way to use cabbage. So it's basically like a cabbage Parmesan crisp. So the bottom layer is egg and Parmesan, a little bit Asiago, and then the top is the seared green cabbage that we looked at over there.
Oh my gosh.
So you can see how this cabbage really takes heat really well, and it's still gonna hold up. It's tender, but you're still gonna have a little bit of structure.
Oh my goodness.
So that's like yummy and
everything
earthy
looks yummy.
and tasty.
Oh my
and
goodness.
Then,
and
I
then
also
we have this soup.
Yeah, so think of like a Mexican sort of chicken broth vegetable soup. So this is our broth. I've already added a really beautiful poached olive oil chicken. Now I'm adding some zucchini.
Very good. Okay.
A little bit of radish. Yep.
So we're going to break really quickly.
Oh my God.
I want you to dress this
heart.
up,
And
make
then
it
we're gonna
all
add
cute.
some
You're not
cabbage.
going anywhere.
Okay.
We'll be right back, and we're going to taste this soup and all of these fabulous cabbage dishes when we come back. Don't touch that remote. We'll be right back.
In the Kitchen is sponsored by Tom Thumb and Albertsons, your one-stop shop and full-service grocer.
Wardrobe for our hosts is sponsored by Dillard's at North Park Center.
Chef Deborah is still in the house, and you guys, we finished up all of the fabulous plates. We even have some fabulous cabbage soup, but we're going out, learning a new skill where you're going to teach me how to chop some cabbage.
Well, so, you know, people are nervous about cabbage. So basically, if you're worried about cutting it, get a smaller cabbage, right? So like this is about the size of my hand.
Cut it in half.
And you're going to cut it in half. So it's going to look like this.
So beautiful.
Right? And then you're going to take 2 cuts and break out the center core. Save this and use it in your stalks. Like, don't automatically throw that away. And then you could use a knife and do knife cuts, but I think the easiest thing is to take the quarter and a mandolin. You can also use like a vegetable slicer, and then just go to town.
There you go. It makes it easy.
Up, and then what you get is that, but it ends up like really delicate, finely shredded.
I love it. Thanks, Chef
like
Deborah,
a feather.
for being here. Have a good morning, Texas. We'll see you later.
Bye.